Now that we'd moved out to the country, I tried setting up a UHF antenna to receive Freeview television at home, but had no luck. So because we just don't really have any signal where we're situated here. So I bought one of these kits, which is a 70 centimeter complete Freeview receiver and satellite dish from this guy on TradeMe. Mike458 is his username, and the cost for the whole set was $95, and for $95 the set came with the dish and mounts, came with a Freeview receiver, or actually it's just a fairly generic satellite receiver. It looks like about 10 meters of RG6 cable, and also a satellite finder. So let's quickly just walk outside and show what I had to do to get the dish mounted. Okay, so oops. So here we've got the dish. Let me just quickly move around the side of it. We've got the dish looking out here. This is a fairly large dish. Now, one of the things I asked Mike about was I knew that the satellite that I was going to try and pick up was going to be almost parallel with my house. So I asked him whether this dish would be able to basically look at 90 degrees from the house, or kind of parallel to the house. And he said that it would, but he also said that he can't guarantee that, and he wasn't 100% sure. And so what I've had to do, as you can see there, is I had to make some 100mm spacers, those little spacer blocks underneath right there, to essentially get the dish far enough from the house so that I can turn it to almost 90 degrees. Now, there are a few ways that I knew where to align the dish. The first one was that I looked at the neighbors, and see if we can see them in the distance there. So there's the neighbor's house, and so you can see they've got the dish on top there. And so I had a look at two of the neighbors, and I looked at where their dishes were pointing, and I was able to kind of more or less realize that my dish was going to be pointing pretty parallel to the house like that. So I mounted the dish and I pointed it more or less in the right direction. This is before I had the 100mm spacers. This was when I tried it with 50mm spacers, and I used the satellite finder that came with the kit, and that's all pretty self-explanatory. Basically, point your dish in roughly the right direction. Let me grab the satellite finder. Point your dish in roughly the right direction. This is it here. Connect the satellite side to your dish, connect the other side to your powered up receiver, which I also had connected to the television at that point. And then it's got a sensitivity adjustment on the side there, and I adjusted it so it was reading about 5 on the scale, and then I moved the dish, I swung the dish around, which is called the azimuth. It's just basically the angle of the dish. And I also and basically peaked the signal, and then I adjusted it back to 5. And then I played with the elevation of the dish, which is the up and down of the dish basically, and that's all fairly easily done from the back there, until I peaked the signal again. Now I did that the first time with the 50mm blocks, and then spent about 2 or 3 hours wondering why I couldn't really get any of the New Zealand Freeview channels, but I got quite a lot of other channels, mostly religious channels and a bit of Russia Today and that kind of thing. And after a long time of browsing the internet and actually trying to figure out what was going on, it occurred to me that I was actually pointing at the Optus D2 satellite, not at the Optus D1 satellite. So I basically had completely the wrong satellite that I was looking at. And so so once I figured that out, I came out here and I moved the dish pointing more closer to north, which is closer to the house. And at this point the dish was hitting the house with the 50mm spacers I was using at first. And so but what happened is I used the satellite finder while doing this, and I figured out that I could, there was definitely another satellite there, even though I couldn't fully maximize the signal from it. I connected the antenna cable back up again, connected it all up, and I found that I then had the right channels, but it wasn't getting a very good signal. And so what I had to do then is make the 100mm block so that I could make the dish look basically in the right direction. Now, the dish didn't actually come with assembly instructions, although Mike did email them to me later on. Although by that stage I already figured it all out. It was fairly straightforward to assemble, wasn't too big a deal. So I've just got some cable running through the house now. Oops, let's get into here and we'll go have a look at this little receiver unit. So let's have a look. So cable runs through here. Now this is what the little receiver unit that the kit comes with looks like. So you've basically got your satellite input on the side there, you've got power and an infrared receiver, and you've got AV cables going to your television here. And that was fairly straightforward. And there you can see I've just quickly finished searching for all the channels. So let's quickly, while I'm here, we'll just have a look at what all the settings are that I've got set up. I'll just mute that. There we go. Okay, so let's quickly go. So I'm going to press the menu button. And let's press the exit button to get back to... Oh, there we go. So menu button to exit. Now I'm going to press the menu button to go back to the menu. And let's go and have a look. So what it came with was a whole bunch of pre-configured satellites, which in your situation may work. I fiddled with a lot of those settings to try and configure them for the Optus D1 satellite, because I couldn't actually receive it at first, because obviously I was pointed at the wrong satellite. So let's just quickly have a look at what I've got in the end. These are the values that I came up with. So I've got a new Sat1. I've set the LNB type to user. I've set the frequency of the LNB to 11.3 gigahertz, and I knew that that was the right frequency by looking at the little box that the LNB came in. The LNB is the little white thing that attaches to the end of the stake for the dish, and basically that's the only major one that I set up those two. You change the LNB type to user and then just set that to 11.3 gigahertz or 11,300 megahertz. Then what I did next was I basically went to auto scan and went down to 3 and hit the OK button, and that started the search, and that's how you got all your channels. You can also, if you look at NIT search, I believe, you can see these are basically different frequencies that I'm going through here. So let's just start from number 1 of 28 up there. So you can see it's TP frequency there. Now these were automatically populated by the auto search, but these are the correct values for the Optus D1 satellite. So you can see there that you've got 12456. Symbol rate of 22,500. So I know that this 12456 and the next one along, which is 12483, are both Freeview NZ. They should both be horizontal polarity, and you can see in the bottom we've got pretty good signal quality as well from the satellite. So yeah, considering that all of this stuff, including the satellite finder and this bit of cable that I've just got temporarily running out to the dish, was less than $100, it is fairly good value for money. The only thing that I left out was there's a little picture. I'm just going to try and zoom in on, looking at the LNB on the back of the dish there. There was a little picture saying adjust that so that the wire coming out of it points at about 8 o'clock, which is what you can see is approximately what I've done there, and I believe that has to do with the polarity of the dish and polarity of the satellite. So you want to get that basically also just pointing in the right, more or less the right direction. But yeah, you know, for $100, I figure, you know, the fact that it actually works and you know, I could do it all, probably would have gone a bit quicker if I'd realized I was pointing at the wrong satellite quicker. But yeah, not too bad all up really. So hopefully this video will be of a little bit of use to someone looking at buying the kit and installing it at their place.